You're the owner of a small business, which means you're also the tech guy, and HR, and personal assistant, and head honcho, and intern. You could use another pair of hands, like the experts you'll find at Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through 27th. Get a free tech check, special deals, and more. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment. Verizon Business.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don McDonald, and welcome to a little radio show about a really big topic, your future, and how you're going to live that future, and how much enjoyment that future will bring, and the money that will help fund it, because that's really what it's about. If you don't have money, you will not have the kind of existence you'd like. I know money isn't everything, but it's sure a lot of things. And you must know that at this time of year. How many of you, come on, raise your hands. How many of you have been to, well, I can tell you where I went to do some shopping. I went foolishly to Costco. I also bought wine and some liquor and how many of you had the experience I had when you got to the register? You know the experience. It's where your jaw, it's usually stated figuratively that it hits the floor. No, in the case of spending money at Costco, it's literal jaw dropping, detaching from the rest of your head and hitting the floor. Whew. It's so easy to spend money in that store. And yet stuff's cheaper, but it's still so easy to spend money in that store. Although I guess my big old Costco bonus next year will be nice. That's the only good thing about it. I got some nice stuff, yeah. But this is the season to spend money. You know you need to have it. You have to have it all along, but there are times when you need a little more of it. This is the season. Retirement is going to be that long-term season, one of those seasons that, it could last 25 or even 30% of your life. So if you want to have the money you need down the road, then you need to listen to this show every week. And you need to realize that you can't know it all. You just can't. I'm Don. Tom is off pretending he's far younger than he really is, sliding down some snow-covered hill. I know, he won't admit his age. I, on the other hand, will admit my age, and I will do no sliding down snow-covered hills. That's why we built houses. We built nice, warm houses with blankets and televisions and radios. If you need a little bit of help with money, though, if you'd like to become a better investor, if you'd like to solve a problem you're facing, if you'd like to get a question answered that has eluded one, what you need to do is call me. And it's really, really easy to do that every Saturday from noon until 2. Is that right? Noon till 2 on the West Coast, 3 to 5 on the East Coast. Yes, I did my math right. At 877-397-5666. That's 877-397-5666. And if you've listened before, you know that this is about what I call real investing. And real investing is a little bit different than what you may have believed was investing in the past. Now, like all of you listening, I am a relatively smart person. I honestly believe, I don't think I'm deluding myself, that I'm above average intelligence-wise. I'm, not an off-the-charts Einsteinian genius, but I'm pretty smart. But I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and what I don't know is a lot, I've realized. As a matter of fact, the older I get, the more I know I don't know. And that is the first step to true wisdom, is realizing what you don't know. Now, I'm sure that there are many of you out there listening to me right now who, when faced with a problem with your automobile, could get under the hood, diagnose it, and fix it. Right? You're car smart. I'm not. Even though I work for a car dealer for a portion of my life, I'm not car smart. I don't fix my own cars. I do not operate on my own body. I am a terrible doctor. I am not a particularly great lawyer. I'm a lousy dentist. I'm a terrible accountant. So I look to others for help in those things. Well, when it comes to investing, I want to talk a little bit about where you go for help and maybe why you shouldn't.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi, brief break time. I'm Don, and I really wanted to share this with you because this is something I'm really excited about. I have taken much of the work that we do for our online Real Investing Journal and put it into a quarterly magazine that is, I have to say, pretty good and pretty cheap. And it is the only publication I can find anywhere that is totally devoted to real investing. You will find no business news there. You will find no lifestyle information. You will find no hard news, political news, speculation stuff. It's all about the science and the process and the discipline of real investing, and it's a way to keep you on track toward a better future. It comes out 4 times a year, and it's going to cost most people $25 a year. That's all, just $25 a year. But because it's brand spanking new, a limited number of people can become charter subscribers at the lifetime price of $15 per year. Plus, I'll get you a copy of the very first issue as a bonus while the supplies last, of course. So here's all you need to do. Just go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and subscribe. And you'll start getting it in the mail every quarter. If you're one of the first 200 or so to subscribe, you'll also get the very first issue as a bonus. So be one of the first to get the very first magazine ever about investing and nothing but investing. Real Investing Journal, and you can subscribe right now, really easy, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. Now back to the show.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Seriously, you're going to spend, I'm guessing, a couple of decades minimum, and maybe far more in retirement. So you need to make sure you're doing the right stuff to have the money you need to get there. Plus, you also need to make sure you're doing the right stuff to make sure you have the money for your kids' college education. You also need to make sure you're doing the right stuff to save for that house down payment or whatever it is you're doing with your money. Investing is really way too simple to be this complicated. But there are a lot of people with a vested interest in making it complicated. And I'm not one of them. I'd love to take your calls this weekend before Christmas, unless you're listening to the podcast, and it could be any time then, at 877-397-5666. That's 877-397-5666. It's absolutely free. It's really, really easy, and I'm almost always nice unless you are some jerky stockbroker who wants to tell me that you really can. Well, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about that before I say that. I'm going to tell you what they'll tell me. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, what they'll tell me. Before the break, I mentioned that, we're pretty smart people. They're pretty smart. I'm pretty smart. But we shouldn't, at least, think we're smarter than we are. We need to recognize our shortcomings. So we look to experts. Well, when we look to financial experts, I don't know that we know how to do it. I think it's confusing. And that's what I want to do at the beginning of the show here. I want to help you understand how to approach people in the financial services industry. I've been in this industry since my daughter's born in 84, so it must be 83 when I started as a stockbroker. I was a stocks and sock broker, or a socks and stockbroker. Yeah, that'd be better. Stocks and stockbroker. That's what they called it back then when Dean Witter was part of the Sears Financial Network. And here's what people have always done with me and over that incredibly long period of time, they are always coming up to me and saying, Don, you're in finance, you're in investing. What do you think of what the market's doing today? What do you think it's going to do in the future? I got this recently from, I got to tell you, one of the smartest people I know. I mean, this is a person who graduated Harvard Law and served in the U.S. Congress. I mean, really, U.S. Congress, Harvard Law. Asked me what I thought of the Trump rally. Well, what do you think of this Trump rally, and where do you think this is going to go? Now, back in the old days, I tried to, because you gain wisdom as you get older. What did I used to do? You know what I used to do. Well, you know, the markets are feeling like blah 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 blah. And if it blah blah blahs, then it will blah 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 down the road. There's no point in actually putting words where the blahs go, because it's all blah-s. Or all blah blah. It is. If you ask those guys chatting on CNBC. So, what do you think is going to be the result of the Trump rally? What do you think is going to be the result of the Fed raising interest rates? And then someone will start going blah 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 blah. Of course, there always will be a blah 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 and the blah blah blah. My point is, why do we go to your... Okay, I raised the issue of a mechanic first. If my car breaks, I will not fix it. That would be stupid. I am not good at it. So I will go to someone. But when my car gets fixed, I don't say, so when do you think it might break again? Can you tell me when you think this car might go down? How much longer can the car run? What are your expectations? A bad mechanic will probably say, yeah, you get another 150,000 miles on that engine. They're guessing. They don't know. No one knows. So, if you're looking for financial advice, let me tell you the thing. Well, there's a lot of things. One of the things that will help you make a wise choice about the person to whom you turn for help. Ask them, I just thought of this today. Ask them what they think. It was okay. It was like 12:30 last night. Ask them what they think the stock market's going to do. Or what impact do you think interest rates going to have on the stock market? Ask them that question. If they give you a predictive answer, it's the wrong person to deal with. You need to skip them altogether. Because we have just established, with that one question, we have just established whether they are a liar or not. Now, if they say, I have no idea what the market's going to do, but, it could do this and it could do that, okay, that's more honest. We're getting better. If they say to you, I have absolutely no clue what the market's going to do, all I know is what it's done in the past, and in the past, stocks in aggregate, the universe of stocks, all of them together, have gone up far more than they've ever gone down. Now, with that said, the only thing I can guarantee you going forward, this is the most honest of people, here is the most honest answer you're going to get. The only thing I can promise you, period, exclamation point, this is all I will ever write down in the form of a guarantee, is I guarantee you if you buy stocks, they will go down in price at some point, and I will not know when they're going to go back up. Heck, I won't even know for sure if they're going to go back up. All I can tell you is they have in the past, but I don't know what they'll do tomorrow, nor does anyone else. Now, that is quick, it's easy, it's honest, and it's boring. It's why I can't even recall the last time I heard somebody say that on either CNBC or Fox Business. I don't recall anyone ever saying that. That's a sad, sad commentary on our financial system. So call me. Let's talk about your financial system and what you should be doing. As long as you don't want me to know the future. 877-397-5666 is the phone number. Call right now. Got lines open for you. 877-397-5666.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Let me just take a second to share something new with you. We're going to start doing our lunch ed classes that we do at our offices in Phoenix and Portland and Seattle. We're going to start doing them online as a webinar at the same time. So you can attend too. You just won't get lunch. You'll have to go get lunch. But it's also cheaper. It's only $5 a ticket, and you get a full color worksheet and some special perks. So sign up for our upcoming lunch ed classes right now at talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com. It's under the events section, and you will get a real investing education on a variety of topics. So go to talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And by the by, getting through to me today is probably going to be really easy because a lot of people are out shopping. Calls tend to slow down in the holiday season. That's what we're trying. We're trying to decide. I tell you what, I'll let you vote. You can either call me or you can send me a note from talkingrealmoney.com. Should we do a live show next week? Or should we do a best of show? Because will anyone actually be listening to us on Christmas Eve? Be honest. Be honest. Are you going to be listening to the radio on Christmas Eve? And is there any chance you would actually call a talk show? 877-397-5666 is the phone number, 877-397-5666. The other big question people are asking a lot lately, not just about the Trump rally. And again, you want to know my answer on the Trump rally? I have no idea how long it will continue. I don't even really understand why it started in the first place. So, the other one we're going to talk some about is interest rates. Now, again, I'm not going to try and predict the future, but there are some things you need to know. So stick around. 877-397-5666 is the number to call, and we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. You're going to come away from this show much, much, much wiser about investing than you were before you came here. Rebecca, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hello.
Hey, Rebecca. Hi, what's up?
Hey. Just real quick, I wanted to know your philosophy on how to pay for my daughter's college. If you think I should get student loans, I don't really want her to have a huge student loan debt when she graduates. Mm-hmm. Should I get a home equity loan to pay for it?
How old is your daughter?
What's your philosophy on that?
Well, it depends on a lot of things. Like
next year.
Oh, so it's right here. It's on you right now.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Tell me. You don't. Apparently, you don't have a lot of money sitting around to pay for her college, right?
Right.
Second,
so I figured we just try to pay for it as we go as best we can, or take out a home equity loan, something like that.
Which sounds very familiar to me as the father of four. Who have all gone through that. But let me give you a couple of ideas. One, have you gone through the process of just preliminary financial aid?
Yeah, that do the FAFSA.
You done the FAFSA? Have you talked to the counselor? It's because usually the counselors at the high schools can help you with some of that at a good school, or the school district has someone, or your community. Have them go through that with you and see because you really, before you can make these decisions, you need to have a darn good idea what the costs are going to be. Is she going to go in-state or out?
In-state.
Oh, good for you. Okay, that's going to be a lot more affordable. What my personal belief, and Rebecca, this is just me, okay? This is truly just me. I had all of my kids carry a little debt, with the exception of one who made some very bad choices and went off to one of these lousy little fake schools without consulting me. And she ended up with a lot of debt.
Okay.
But my other kids, I left them with a little debt. What I did, and again, I tried to find the debt that would give them the best deal and the best flexibility. So you want some federally backed loans if you can do it. But the other thing you should do prior to that, and this people don't emphasize this enough, get out there and have her apply for every stupid scholarship you can. Garden clubs, service clubs, whatever it is. If it involves writing a quick essay, it could be good money.
Okay.
I was worked with a couple of foundations, and we would have almost nobody apply for $1,000, $2,000 scholarships. And so it would go, it was a 50-50 chance. That's pretty good odds. So do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Then if you don't have the money, then it's like the rest of us, it's borrow against the home a little bit once in a while to pay those bills and make do as best you can. But I think kids should always have a little skin in the game, always. And that can come in the form of some debt that has some very flexible terms. Thanks for the call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Here's another brief interruption. I am surprised at how much people still love their magazines, their print magazines. The vast majority of the most popular magazines on the planet have millions of print subscribers and only a few 100,000 online subscribers. I learned people like reading on paper, and because of that, I've decided to create a brand new magazine for real investors to help you become a real investor. It's called Real Investing Journal, and it's full of just that, real investing information, the science of investing, the proven ways to make money long-term without gambling. There's no business news. There's nothing about speculating. There's no lifestyle stuff. It is all about investing all the time. It's a full-color magazine. It's printed every quarter, and it's going to cost $25 a year is all. That's all, $25 a year. But here's the deal. If you become one of our charter subscribers, we'll lock in $15 a year, and while supplies last, you'll get the very first issue in addition to your next year. That's a deal. $15 a year, and if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That simple. So go right now to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You need to add that /subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and sign up for the charter subscription rate of only $15. You save $10 and you lock it in, and you get an extra issue. And you need to do it now because I know we're going to run out of the extra issues, so you better hurry. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You'll like it or your money back. And speaking of back, we're going back to the show now.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Money help is right at hand. It's right here, right now, available to you at the push of a button or, 10 on your phone. 877-397-5666. Those are the 10 buttons you need to push in that order. Please, in that order. Don't push them in a different order. 877-397-5666. And then I'm here, Don McDonald. Been doing this for a very long time. Been on the radio doing financial talk since 88. Been in the business since 83. I'd love to make money a little easier for you to deal with. 877-397-5666. I was doing some just for fun during the break. I remember this from my kids, but the number of college scholarships, obscure college scholarships available is unbelievable. Just go online and search for Washington State scholarships or whatever state you're in scholarships. I know for a fact our local garden club was offering a horticultural scholarship or offers whatever year for $1,000. I've seen, of course, you got your typical academic and science-based scholarships. Lots of those. Athletic scholarships. If you're athletic in almost any way, shape, or form and pretty darn good at what you do, you're going to get a scholarship somewhere. And even if you're not athletic or highly academic, there are scholarships for you. I just found this one. Let's say you've got a child who likes to design clothing. There are clothing design scholarships. The American Sheep Industry awards scholarships for high school students who design or make garments with wool or mohair. It's called the Make It With Wool Scholarship. So, folks, there's free money sitting out there. And I guarantee you, because I've experienced it firsthand, that for some of these scholarships, the number of applications are tiny. There were kids at my youngest daughter's high school just a few years ago who were racking up 5 and 6 and 7 of these little tiny scholarships of $500, $1,000, $1,500 each. But, when you get 5 or 10 of them, you're talking real money. 877-397-5666. Come on by. Chris, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, Chris. What's up?
Well, and this might be a simple question, I don't know, but I've been saving with my 401k for a while, and it's through Fidelity and my job, and I don't know that I'm really getting a great return on it, or even if it's, as expected. I honestly don't know.
How long have you been in it?
It made sense. This one, I just started this position a little over a year ago, and I just maxed it out as much as they would match. So.
Okay. Well, first, before you get to your more specific question, let's just start with a more general answer. There is no way in the world you can judge the return on any investment in a year. You just can't do it. It's unfair to the investments. You can have bad years, mediocre years, horrible years, and still be in pretty good investments for their long-term potential. So it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. What types of Fidelity funds are you using right now?
When I spoke with the representative there, we basically put almost like everything into one of their funds for retirement at 2050.
Okay, so they took the easy route. They took the target maturity fund, the target date fund.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which I think is in really, really, really broad terms okay. But what I would suggest you do, we've got this cool little website called 401411.com where we have, about 100 401ks already up there with some suggestions on how you can get a little more specific to your level of risk tolerance or need. You can also, if yours isn't there, submit it, and we can help you figure out how to better allocate it, or give you these 3 allocations. We have a more aggressive, a moderate, and a conservative allocation, and we try to pick the best funds out of the group so that you can build a slightly better portfolio. But I got to tell you, just having the Fidelity 2050 target date is probably it's going to serve you well enough. It isn't going to make you rich, but it's not going to kill you either, and you may not be able to do a ton better, maybe a little bit better. Go to 401411.com and check that out. But don't make wholesale changes, and don't get short-sighted about your investments, and don't watch them every day.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're one of the many podcast listeners who's asked, how do I attend one of your classes? Well, we've decided to take our very popular Lunch Ed classes that we've been doing at our offices and also do them in the form of a webinar online. At the same time, I'm doing the class live elsewhere. You can sign up for these live Lunch Ed classes right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. We have a limited number of seats available because we have to pay for them, so reserve your place right now. We're going to have classes in the future on a variety of topics, so check them out regularly at TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the event section. And there is a small fee for these classes, just $5, but you're going to get a great education, not a sales pitch, and a free worksheet and some other perks. So sign up for our next Lunch Ed class right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. And now, more Talking Real Money.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Well, this weekend, it's just dawn. Tom is, I believe, sliding down a mountain. Actually, on purpose. He's sliding down a frozen mountain on purpose. Okay? This was something I did on purpose when I was in my teens and 20s, a little in my 30s. The older I got, the less sliding down mountains appealed to me. And the more sitting inside a nice warm place in front of a fire with a beverage appealed to me. So, that's just me. Hi there, I'm Don McDonald, and this is Talking Real Money, the show that, talks about real money in a really understandable way. Because if you don't understand it, you're going to be in trouble, and Wall Street knows it. And they actually encourage that kind of behavior. You got a lot of folks out there claiming they know what the future is going to bring. You have a lot of folks out there selling you products that are too good to be true or just plain flat-out lies. You have all these idiots out there, and I'm sorry, to me, they're all idiots, selling these day trading timing systems. You want to learn to gamble? Learn to play blackjack and go to Vegas and have some fun doing it. Sitting in a dark room with computer screens in front of you just doesn't sound smart, which makes them idiots to me. It just doesn't sound smart. Particularly, do you know what the number is when it comes to day trading, to doing the squiggly line stuff? There have been multiple studies done on this. Somewhere around 90% of all day traders are actually used to support the other 10%. You are the subsidy, in other words, for those other guys who are either cheating or just pretty lucky. You're not going to be one of them. I know you think you will, but you will not. So give it up and learn how to be a real investor. If you don't know something, ask for help. Know where to go to ask for help. And do some things that are relatively simple and totally make sense. When you sit down for just a minute, you think about it. You just don't focus on all the stuff around you, or don't get distracted by all the stuff around you. Focus on this. Focus on some simple concepts, and do they make sense? Let me give you an example. Everybody's running around like the chicken with its proverbial head chopped off, worrying about the fact that the Fed raised rates, right? What's this going to do to the stock market? Oh, I shouldn't own bonds. Bonds are bad. Bonds are bad. Bonds are going down. Well, you got that right. Okay, little basics of investing. Investing like pre-101. The value of a bond moves opposite the direction of the underlying interest rates. So if interest rates are generally rising, then generally speaking, the value of bonds are going down. Because the bonds with the old lower interest rates aren't worth as much to investors who can get new bonds at higher rates, so you got to discount them to make them worthwhile. It's a pretty simple fact. You get that, right? Okay. Make sure you understand the concept. So, that being said, people think if I own bonds, they're going to plummet in value if rates rise. Partially true. But that's the problem. The devil's in the details. If you own a 30-year bond, corporate, government, municipal, don't care. If you own a 30-year bond and interest rates rise, that bond's value is going to be affected dramatically. Why? Because if rates stay high for a very, very long time, that bond will be permanently devalued or long time devalued. It's going to stay worth less. The same thing doesn't happen as dramatically with shorter-term bonds. If you have a bond that matures in 1 year, let's go to the opposite extreme, 30 over here and 1 over here. You have a bond that matures in 1 year. It was a bond that you bought a couple of months ago when rates were lower. Now rates are a little higher. Yep. If you want to sell that bond that you paid $1,000 for today, you're going to get less than $1,000. Yep, absolutely. So if you must get out of that lower yielding bond, you will take a bit of a hit. But you'll only take a small hit because the rest of the market isn't stupid. They know that that bond, if held for the next 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 months, however long it has left, that bond can be handed back, can be redeemed for the $1,000 you paid for it. If you bought it brand new, you just hand it back for $1,000. So the only way you lose money on a short intermediate bond is if you're not willing to hold it to maturity. Now, I can see why you wouldn't be willing to hold a 30-year bond to maturity. That's kind of scary. But why in the world wouldn't you be able to hold a 1-year bond to maturity? You would. You would do that. If you had to take a big hit, you would hold it. That's why the hit is small, because there would be nobody selling these bonds. If the hit was like a 10% hit on the value of the bond, if you had to lose 10%, nobody would sell their bond. They'd just hold it. The market is a very efficient pricing mechanism for things because people think about this. They go, oh, wait, yeah, okay, I just hold it. That's why we believe that bonds have a place in a portfolio, but they need to be the right bonds. You should not buy bonds to make money. Period, exclamation point. You don't own bonds to make money. You own bonds because if you buy a bond today, and it's backed by the U.S. government, in a year or 2 or 3 or whenever that bond matures, you are guaranteed your money back. The interest is gravy. What they do to a portfolio, though, is provide a semblance of security. Less volatility. If you owned a 30-year bond, yeah, that's going to be almost as volatile as your stocks. Well, what's the point in owning something as volatile as stocks that doesn't make you as much money as stocks have made in the past, or doesn't have the chance, or is very unlikely to make you as much money as stocks have made in the past? That would be dumb. So you own stocks to make money. They go down. Remember my guarantee earlier in the hour? The only thing I guarantee, stock prices will fall. No, that's going to happen. However, bond prices do not have to fall. They don't have to. If you own short-term or intermediate-term bonds, you can hold those to maturity. And the mutual fund companies even know that. And as a matter of fact, if you own a mutual fund, your mutual fund is going to be buying bonds at the new higher rates all the time, which is going to increase the interest you receive. So it mitigates some of that. It's a logical process. 877-397-5666, the phone number. This is important conversation, folks.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
I discovered something really interesting not too long ago. It's the fact that people still like getting printed magazines. I read most stuff online, but the vast majority of subscribers to almost every publication known to mankind subscribe to the print edition. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. So I've decided to correct my mistake, and I have created a brand new magazine, the only one that I know of that is totally devoted to real investing. It's called, aptly enough, Real Investing Journal. Real Investing Journal comes out every single quarter. Real Investing Journal is not about speculating. It is not about business. It is not about lifestyles. It is not about politics or other news. It is strictly about the process of building wealth by becoming a real, disciplined, scientific-based investor. And it comes out every single quarter, and you have an opportunity to get it for a lot less money and to lock that price in as a charter subscriber. Annual subscriptions are going to run $25, but if you subscribe soon, you'll be one of the Charter subscribers who not only gets it for $15 a year locked in, but you'll also get the very first issue of Real Investing Journal as a bonus while supplies last. So here's how you subscribe. It's really easy. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. And then what do? You subscribe. Then we'll start mailing it to you. And if you don't enjoy it, I'll give your money back. What do you have to lose? You got nothing to lose. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, become a Charter subscriber to Real Investing Journal, and I guarantee you've never seen a publication quite like this because nobody that I can find focuses on the truth about investing. Except, well, of course, now Real Investing Journal. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, and I know I said that a lot, but I want you to remember it. And now back to the show.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Well, only because it's just really darned important. And I want to invite you to, in the new year, we are going to have a lot of new events, a lot of really exciting new events coming up in 2017, some new classes. We've got a brand new Retire Meet coming up, which is going to be just awesome. This is going to be the biggest, baddest Retire Meet, bad in terms of good, we've ever had. Lots of great people involved, more classes than ever. So remember, the place to find all of these events is at talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.
If you're one of the mini podcast listeners who's asked, how do I attend one of your classes? Well, we've decided to take our very popular Lunch Ed classes that we've been doing at our offices and also do them in the form of a webinar online. At the same time, I'm doing the class live elsewhere. You can sign up for these live Lunch Ed classes right now at talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com. We have a limited number of seats available because we have to pay for them, so reserve your place right now. We're going to have classes in the future on a variety of topics, so check them out regularly at talkingrealmoney.com. It's under the event section. And there is a small fee for these classes, just $5, but you're going to get a great education, not a sales pitch, and a free worksheet and some other perks. So sign up for our next Lunch Ed class right now at talkingrealmoney.com, talkingrealmoney.com. And now, more Talking Real Money.
Radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hi, folks. I'm Don. Tom's not here. I'm Don McDonald, and I'm here to help you build, create, grow, find the best possible future, particularly how to create the best possible retirement. Because for most people, saving and investing is primarily about saving and investing for retirement. Because that's the point at which you either choose to stop working because you're just sick of it, or at some point you just can't do it anymore, which will be the only way they're going to drag me out from behind this microphone, is if I just can't do it anymore. That's the nice thing about having a job you really love. You don't want to retire. But you still need to have some money if you can't do the things that you normally did. For example, maybe I couldn't at some point down the road do all of the things I do for my firm and, write Real Investing Journal and do the websites and create the calendar. I was just thinking about the calendar, and since we've got Christmas coming up next weekend, tell you what I'm going to do. Because we've kind of been light on calls today. I'm going to give you the calendar bribe today. So we'll take down your name and your phone number, and then we'll call you next week to get your address so we can send it to you. But if you call and ask a question on the air, the new calendar's out. Tom got his this week. I got the box it shipped in, and he actually said, "This is a really good calendar." Now, this is a Don McDonald design calendar. I created it. I didn't do the art, but I designed it. I got the art, and I designed it. Well, I modified the art. Totally my creation, so any errors I have, of course, have to take responsibility for, because I did it by myself. But it's a cool-looking calendar, and it's very different than most of the calendars. And you're not the only way you're going to get one of these is if you call and ask a question on the air, because they're not available for sale anywhere. We will probably have some available at Retire Meet at some of our future events too. So probably I'm at some of our classes, but that's the only other way. So give me a call, 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. Tom's away this weekend. He will be back next weekend. He informs me he's taking the day off to slip and slide down a mountain, and yet he still manages to take time to send me a text saying, "No, we will be on live next week." Guess I'll be here. He's planning on being here. So he's gonna head into the studio on Christmas Eve. So we'll be here for you. We will not be here on New Year's Eve, though. That's because that college football team. What's the name of that team there? In the something about dogs or something. Yeah, they're playing in some big game. Psh, how'd that happen? No, I'm kidding. I know which game. It's the championship thing. It's the semifinals. Oh, so we'll be preempted for that, which makes sense. So give me a call, 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. I was so excited yesterday when I went out to the mailbox, and in the mailbox was the latest issue of Real Investing Journal. It goes out via standard mail, so it can be pretty slow sometimes. But I got it. My mom called me and said, "Oh, my gosh, your stepfather loved Real Investing Journal. He read it cover to cover." And we're going to talk about some of the things in here because not everybody gets them. And one of the things I want to talk about a little later today in this hour, is this interesting concept called tax loss harvesting. It sounds a little complex and convoluted, and it is to some extent. But if you can effectively pull off some tax loss harvests, you can reduce your taxes in the new year. Stick around. We'll be back and talk about that.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Here's another brief interruption. I am surprised at how much people still love their magazines, their print magazines. The vast majority of the most popular magazines on the planet have millions of print subscribers and only a few 100,000 online subscribers. I learned people like reading on paper, and because of that, I've decided to create a brand new magazine for real investors to help you become a real investor. It's called Real Investing Journal, and it's full of just that, real investing information, the science of investing, the proven ways to make money long-term without gambling. There's no business news. There's nothing about speculating. There's no lifestyle stuff. It is all about investing all the time. It's a full-color magazine. It's printed every quarter, and it's going to cost $25 a year is all. That's all, $25 a year. But here's the deal. If you become one of our charter subscribers, we'll lock in $15 a year, and while supplies last, you'll get the very first issue in addition to your next year. That's a deal. $15 a year, and if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That simple. So go right now to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You need to add that /subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe and sign up for the charter subscription rate of only $15. You save $10 and you lock it in, and you get an extra issue. And you need to do it now because I know we're going to run out of the extra issues, so you better hurry. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. You'll like it or your money back. And speaking of back, we're going back to the show now.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
877-397-5666 is our phone number. We're doing an hour of Christmas giving. It's a Christmas gift bribe. If you call and ask a question on the air, I'll get you one of the new Vestry Don McDonald designed 2017 calendars. It's really cool, and it's free. And also, one other little holiday giving idea. If you have a teenager who has a job or a young adult in your family who has a job, and you're finding it a little difficult to buy a decent gift for him, you don't want to get him some piece of junk that's just going to get destroyed or thrown away, you can give him an IRA. Give him a Roth IRA. That's a tax-free IRA. And here's a cool way to do it. Give him a card and have a check in there made out to like TD Ameritrade for whatever the amount is, because TD Ameritrade has no minimums on their Roth IRAs, no fees on their Roth IRAs, and you can use a variety of Vanguard ETFs like VT, which is the total market ETF, without any transaction fees. And what you can do while your kids are visiting for Christmas, sit down with them and open the account together. It gets them involved in the process. It's a bonding experience. And when you get on the form and you go down to the bottom, there are 3 things. It says, at this time, I primarily expect to, and they give you 3 choices. It says buy and hold and occasionally trade stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, or actively trade, or I'm not sure. Of course you're sure. And you will not allow your child to check the second button, period. No actively trading, or the money is withdrawn. Then you can see if they're going to actively trade, too. So there you go. Cool gift to give somebody. To give them a Roth IRA. Then it doesn't break. And you give them something even more valuable than a fun couple of days. You give them a retirement, the beginnings of a retirement. Plus, they learn how to get into the account and all that stuff, too. Brandy, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. What can I do for you?
So I have a question. Due to a couple of unfortunate circumstances, I will be receiving a small inheritance from my grandparents here in the next couple weeks. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to invest the money, as far as whether I would be better off to just take the entire amount and put it into my Vanguard account, or whether it would be better to hold on to it and do more of the dollar cost averaging by putting a little bit each month into them. Well,
there are a couple of things that will really help kind of cinch the deal. I could tell you quickly where my first inclination is to go, but first, how much money are we talking about? Roughly.
I believe it's going to be between $60,000 and $75,000.
Oh, okay. And this money you are earmarking for what future purpose?
Most ideally for retirement.
Good answer.
I'm already maxing out what I can put into actual retirement accounts. Mm-hmm. So I can't put it in a Roth or anything like that. But I do have children in college, and so there could be a potential that I may need a little bit of that money to help pay for college in the next couple of years.
What's your emergency money situation right now? What do you have sitting in an account that's relatively quickly liquidatable and available for the kids if you need it for college or other expenses?
About $90,000.
That's quite a bit. I mean, you may want to, it depends on your situation. If it would make you sleep better at night to take 10, 15, 20,000 of this and flesh out your emergency money, no objection to that. But the idea, if it's long-term money, how old are you too, Brandy?
45.
Oh, okay. You still got a long time before retirement. I would not dollar
That's
cost.
That's why I would like to put it towards retirement, but
yeah. I would not dollar cost average it, Brandy.
Okay.
The reason there's if you don't put it in, you guarantee you won't make money on it. If you do put it in, you might lose for a while, but the winning periods far exceed the losing periods, and no one, I don't care how smart they are, can tell you what's going to happen to the stock market tomorrow. Not a soul.
Right.
The other big advantage to having it in the stock market is the fact that lightly traded funds like the funds at Vanguard, the index funds there, they have a very low turnover rate. Funds like that don't pass along a lot of taxable events to you. So they act more like kind of an IRA, because all of those gains, as the price of the shares rise, is tax deferred. So that's a big benefit over income generating vehicles also. So I would just get this money in. Again, that understanding that I have no clue what tomorrow brings. We could have a crash day after tomorrow.
By far the easiest option to just move it all at once and not have to worry about doing gradual transfers. But I just wasn't sure if in the long run.
Not only is it the easiest, it's the easiest, but it's the smartest, because you're playing the best odds. Stocks go up about 75% of the time. So if you put it in, you're playing the odds that make most sense, where you're most likely to win.
Right.
Okay? That's what I do.
Sounds good.
All right, Brandy. Thank you for calling, and have a great holiday season. And if you've got kids who have jobs, give them some Roth IRAs with some of that. There you go. I found another thing to do with it. 877-397-5666 is our phone number, 877-397-5666. The calendar bribe, got that. We got that for you. We're going to talk about tax loss harvesting, how you can, because if you have a properly diversified portfolio, you will have segments of that portfolio that will have lost money. So you want to do a couple of, one, you want to rebalance. You want to sell some of your winners and buy your losers, and your winners are going to have some gains. Well, one of the ways you can offset some of those gains, and this is only in taxable accounts, the kind of account that Brandy was talking about. This does not apply to IRAs, 401ks, Roth IRAs, 403bs. Doesn't apply to those. It has to be a taxable account. If you have one asset class in your taxable account that is down in value, for example, I think this year emerging markets are down. So let's say you have an emerging markets fund in your portfolio, in your taxable portfolio that's down. You got some gains elsewhere. You're going to be selling something to rebalance. Well, to help offset some of those, you can, if you have enough of a loss in that emerging markets fund, you can sell that emerging markets fund. Take the loss, which will directly offset the gain. And then there's a little trick so that you don't have to sit out for 30 days, because you'd have to sit out for 30 days or the loss wouldn't be allowed. 877-397-5666. Give me a call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Our lunch ed classes that we've talked about occasionally during the show have been so popular that we're now expanding them to our offices in Portland and Phoenix, and we are going to start doing them online too. Well, you won't get the lunch if you do it online. You will get a great education, and you can go out and grab lunch and join us for Lunch Ed. Just sign up at TalkingRealMoney.com. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. There is a very small fee, just $5, but for that, you get a worksheet, and you get access to some special offers, so it's worth it. Sign up now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com, and get a real investing education. That's TalkingRealMoney.com. Now back to the show.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
To take a tax loss, but you don't get out of them. You stay in them, because you can't get right back into the same fund. If you're selling it to take a loss, it's called a wash sale if you get back in anytime before the 31st day after you sell it. But there's a way around that. It's a simple little trick. Find a similar fund. A very similar fund, not identical. Look at the portfolio, make sure it doesn't own everything in the exact same order, it's on the exact same stocks. As long as it's not identical, you are going to be okay with the tax loss. And then in 31 days, on the 31st day, you can take that money out of the fund you moved into to stay in the market, move it right back into your original fund. There you go. Saved you a couple bucks. A little work, not a lot. 877-397-5666 is the phone number. This is a show about real life and how money really works and how it can really work harder for you. John, you're next. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, John.
Hi there.
What's up?
My question. I can't help thinking that the housing market in Seattle is too hot. Much too hot.
Doesn't it feel a little bubbly? It does feel a little bubbly to me too. But that's just a feeling, and I don't put any stock in feelings.
But I remember,
and I don't put any feelings in stocks either.
Out of Seattle, please turn off the lights.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I live in a little community that had a big boom back in the late 2000s, 2006 through 2007, where real estate prices got up to $400 a square foot for homes. Mm-hmm. And it did bust the next year. Remember, 2008, it busted. But it recovered. But it's never, here's the thing about real estate. If you're using real estate as an investment, I think you're making a big mistake anyway, because it's a gamble. It's speculative. Real estate over the past 100 years has returned almost nothing. Did you know that? Most people don't even know that.
Are you talking about home real estate or commercial real estate?
Home real estate. Homes,
okay.
Yeah. Talking about houses. The things that most people think they're investing in. The return, the average annual return over 100 years, about 1%. The average annual return for stocks over 100 years, over 7%.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Seattle market certainly feels frothy, but it's frothy because of a lot of money pouring out of a previously frothy market around San Francisco.
Okay.
We don't have a clue how long, how wide that bubble can expand, how high it can go. We have no clue. We do know that at some point it will burst, and that will hurt a lot of people who are gambling in real estate. But you shouldn't be gambling in real estate. If you're a real estate investor, you should own real estate all over the country, of all types. Particularly, I'm mainly talking about commercial apartments and the like. Those actually make sense as investments. Homes, lousy investments. Good place to live. You live in a home because you love the home. You don't live in a home because you think you're going to make a lot of money or lose a lot of money, in my opinion. Okay?
I'll go along with that. Yeah.
Okay, John. Thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it. Stay on the line. We'll get your information, and we'll get you a calendar. 877-397-5666 is the phone number. I find people, I get so much pushback on that from real estate agents. They hate anytime anybody mentions that buying a home is a lousy investment. But let me tell you, historically, buying a home in this country has been a lousy investment. A lousy investment. I use the word investment very specifically. Investments are not gambling. Yes, real estate has been a very profitable speculative vehicle for a number of people. It has also been a disastrous speculative vehicle for a lot of people. To this day, go down to Phoenix and talk to some folks there about their experience with real estate prices. See what kind of reaction you get. You will find it very different than what a lot of people in the Seattle area are saying right now.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
I discovered something really interesting not too long ago. It's the fact that people still like getting printed magazines. I read most stuff online, but the vast majority of subscribers to almost every publication known to mankind subscribe to the print edition. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. So I've decided to correct my mistake, and I have created a brand new magazine, the only one that I know of that is totally devoted to real investing. It's called, aptly enough, Real Investing Journal. Real Investing Journal comes out every single quarter. Real Investing Journal is not about speculating. It is not about business. It is not about lifestyles. It is not about politics or other news. It is strictly about the process of building wealth by becoming a real, disciplined, scientific-based investor. And it comes out every single quarter, and you have an opportunity to get it for a lot less money and to lock that price in as a charter subscriber. Annual subscriptions are going to run $25, but if you subscribe soon, you'll be one of the Charter subscribers who not only gets it for $15 a year locked in, but you'll also get the very first issue of Real Investing Journal as a bonus while supplies last. So here's how you subscribe. It's really easy. Go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe. And then what do? You subscribe. Then we'll start mailing it to you. And if you don't enjoy it, I'll give your money back. What do you have to lose? You got nothing to lose. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, become a Charter subscriber to Real Investing Journal, and I guarantee you've never seen a publication quite like this, because nobody that I can find focuses on the truth about investing. Except, well, of course, now Real Investing Journal. So go to realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, realinvestingjournal.com/subscribe, and I know I said that a lot, but I want you to remember it. And now back to the show.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
I don't know what just happened. Got a strange echo thing. Hi there. I'm Don. We're back. We're talking about life and real money, the things you can do with it, the ways to make more of it, and the people you should avoid along the way who really aren't looking out for you. Some are. Some aren't. You need to know how to tell the difference. I'll try to help you do that at 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. Giving away some calendars today, just in time for the holidays, or just in time for the new year anyway, to folks who call and ask questions on the air. We'll get some information, and we'll get you that calendar out next week sometime. 877-397-5666 is the number again. And Stephen, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well, sir. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Well, I just had a quick question. So I don't have quite as much money as I guess for investing, but I have about $8,000, and I wasn't really sure where I should put it.
That's a lot of dough. How old are you?
25.
That's a real lot. That's a pretty serious amount of money. What's this money? What do you want to put it away for? What is its future purpose?
Well, so I was thinking about putting it into my Roth account, but I would like to have it in case I did need it for an emergency. So I wasn't sure if I should just put it into a mutual fund.
Well, yeah, that's different. How much? Do you have any other emergency money, or is this is your money?
Well, no. So this is just money I have put away, but I have $4,000 sitting in my checking at the moment.
Okay. How much does it cost you to live a year? Ballpark figure. You know, all your normal that you got to pay them expenses like rent and food and utilities and transportation.
I'll probably use about $2,000 a month.
So you live pretty frugally.
Yes, sir.
Wow, $2,000 a month. Then, you know, here's what I probably do. You're 25. I kind of still remember that. And you get by. You always find ways to get by at 25. I don't know how we did it, but everybody does it. But you're in pretty darn good shape. So why don't you flesh your emergency fund out to $6,000?
All right.
With that extra money, and keep that somewhere that's reasonably liquid, like a very short-term bond fund or money market or something like that, somewhere where you earn a little interest. Don't keep a lot in your checking account. Tie them together so that you can, move money over when you need it in your checking account. But get your emergency money up to about $6,000. Then or actually probably about $6,500 or so. Then take $5,500 of that $8,000, and because you won't miss it once you put it away in your IRA. It's amazing. It's you can buy something and you think this is just going to kill me when I buy it, and then you make it. You go, I'm fine. Oh, look, I didn't miss it. Once you put it away, you won't miss it. So put $5,500 away in your Roth IRA, and then set up a monthly plan where you can put in enough from your paycheck. How much do you make a month, roughly?
Well, I'm actually a college student, so most of my paychecks go to school.
Oh, okay. So wow. Okay. So this money, where'd this money come from? Family
just
and
been
gifts.
saving it up.
You've just been saving. Good for you.
A lot of military, so I'm using, military benefits along with financial aid.
Okay, well, I got to tell you, if you've got that kind of money sitting around, I would, if you think you can survive on $2,000 a month and you've got the $2,000 a month coming in, then you really don't need more than about $6,000 in your emergency money. If you don't have enough money coming in, I should have asked that question first, then you may not want to do the Roth until you get out of college.
Okay.
Because if you don't have enough coming in to cover all of your expenses and college with a little left over, then your emergency fund should probably be even greater. So here's what I'm going to change my whole opinion. I'm going to say, keep that all pretty safe, pretty liquid, but go to your family and say, if you haven't gotten me a Christmas present yet, give me a Roth contribution.
Okay.
One, they'll be really impressed. And two, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. You get your emergency money and you start funding your Roth. I'd try it. It's worth a shot. People don't often know what to get you anyway. So there you go. Try that. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. And we're going to sneak away for just a minute. Come back. We've got more folks on the line and a line open for you at 877-397-5666.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yes, it's time for another one of those inevitable interruptions that go with this being a podcast from a live radio show on commercial radio. This one is about something you're going to really enjoy, though, and something from which you could derive a lot of benefit, and that is the fact that we are now bringing our live lunch ed classes to the internet so that you, along with the folks at our offices in Seattle and Phoenix and Portland, can actually attend the event. You just won't get lunch. You're going to have to go get your own. But you'll still get the same great education, and you get a free worksheet, and you get some other perks that go along with the class. Tickets are only $5. That's it, just $5, and you can get them right now at TalkingRealMoney.com. TalkingRealMoney.com. I guarantee that you're going to get a great education, and if you don't feel you did, let me know. I'll give you your money back. It's really just that easy. So sign up for one of our upcoming lunch ed classes today. Don't put it off because somebody might take your seat. Go to TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the events section of the site, and I hope you'll attend one of the upcoming classes. And now, please continue listening to our program.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Well, primarily because it's really important. I'm Don. Tom's not here. He's taking the day off, but he'll be back on Christmas Eve to share the joy of the season with you. Oh, sorry. Slipped into character. Cherie, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hello.
Cherie? Hello.
So, yes.
What's up?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
So, my situation is that my husband and I are on the cusp. Well, we're in our mid-50s, but we potentially have the assets to retire or semi-retire. We just sold some properties, so we have a significant amount of cash. I have done some investing in real estate and had some success with that, and I just caught the last part of the question, somebody about 2 questions ago, where you said don't invest in real estate unless you're really a real estate professional.
Unless you're a professional, exactly.
And
unless
so
it's your business. See, it's different. It's different than just investing. Investing, when I'm talking about investing, I'm talking about a passive pursuit. And passive real estate is a terrible business. If it's an active business, then it can be good like any other business, depending on how good the person running the business is.
Okay. So my original question was going to be, where would I park a significant amount of cash that I wanted to have available until I decide exactly what I want to do with it. But after hearing the last question, we're not as heavy in the stock market as we probably should be because I had a really negative experience with that in 2008. So maybe my question is, who can I sit down with to explore the options? I've had negative experiences with, the percentage fee type advisors. So
really?
Either of those questions.
Well, I could tell you why you had a bad experience in 2008, I bet, because the market went down on you and you got out, right?
At exactly the wrong time.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I switched advisors in the middle. If I would have stayed with the first advisor and just trusted her, it would have been fine. But I didn't.
Yeah.
and
See,
I
okay.
couldn't
Well,
trust
now,
everybody.
let's be honest then, Sherry. For a minute, it's not a bad experience. You made a bad decision.
Yeah, but on the other hand, that's true about that. But on the other hand, if I would have taken my original assets and bought 2 rental houses, I would have like $1.5 million instead of nothing from those assets.
But had you, let's say you didn't just luckily happen to live in Seattle and you bought 2 houses in Kansas City, you wouldn't have made any money. You wouldn't have made any money. That was the luck of your physical location.
Income.
Yeah, okay, but that's a business. I'm all for putting money in your own business. That is a great idea because it's a business over which you have control. That makes a lot of sense. The stock market makes great sense for longer-term assets that you want to just invest passively because it has historically provided the highest return of any passive asset. No, I've invested in multiple businesses in my life, and I ran them, and I made good money in some and lost money in others. But my passive money is in the stock market because it has averaged over 200 years. The stock market has averaged almost 7% per year. That's really good. The problem is you have to understand it, and that's the problem with most people do not understand it. And rather than tell you what you should do, which I think is a huge mistake, I think it's better to tell you to get some education around this from somebody who's not going to pitch you something. And you know from listening to the show, we don't sit around and pitch people all day. But I would suggest, Cherie, Tom is holding a class that I wrote in January. I think it would be very valuable for you to go to it. And we'll get you a calendar there, too. You can give to somebody else. But I think you should go to that just to see what you did wrong and how you would do it right no matter who you go to in the future.
I think part of the problem is I know just enough to be dangerous.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I would go to Talking Real Money. It's only $5 right now because I just put it up an hour ago. And sign up for the Real Retirement Science class that Tom's holding in January. Go to that. Okay. When you're done with that, I guarantee if you don't go, I know what I should do now after that class, then I'll give you your $5 back. But I'm pretty sure you're going to go, okay, I see what I've been doing. You're going to say to yourself, I see what I've been doing wrong. Okay?
Sounds good.
You will be better off for it. I absolutely guarantee it, or your money back. Thanks, Cherie. Take care. Let's see. Do we have time? Yeah, we do. We still have time. Shelley, you're up next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Well, thank you. I've got a question. I was wondering what your thoughts are on investing in precious metals.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. You're the first person who's called me in ages. I haven't had this call. I was thinking about it earlier. I'm going, why haven't I had any precious metals calls in months? And you know why? Because I haven't done all that well. But here's the thing about precious metals. And again, this is one of those things I want you to visualize. Take a chunk of metal, a gold coin, a piece of bullion or something, and imagine you set it down or put it in a drawer in your desk or in a cabinet, and you walked away for 20 years. You forgot it was there, and you came back 20 years later. Did that piece of gold get any bigger?
No.
Did it grow at all?
Definitely.
No. I've run the numbers. Well, but it probably won't because I've run the numbers, and I've run the numbers along with some other folks with a little help from historians going back 2,000 years. And do you know what the 2,000-year total return on gold after inflation's been?
No, I'm afraid to ask.
0.
Oh, great.
0, because gold is a commodity. Gold is not an asset. Gold is a thing. Gold is based on people's whims. It has no inherent value. Another great story. You'll love this one. Do you know that the Aztecs thought gold was just something to throw away at junk art? They traded vanilla beans. That was their gold.
Wow.
They thought gold was worthless. They had no use for gold. It was pretty. And you could bend it easily into pretty shapes, but they thought it had no value because they had plenty of it. Don't play precious metals. It's a pure gamble. It's absolute, unadulterated gambling. The nice thing about a business, when you buy stocks, you're buying a business. When you buy businesses, you're buying the global economy. And I can show you that the global economy has grown dramatically over 2,000 years based on a lot of great research that's been done academically. And I can show you that over 200 years, the average annual return for the U.S. stock market has been over 6%, almost 7%. I can show you those numbers. I can show you that over the past 200 years, gold has made $0. 0% per year.
Good to know.
Okay?
All right. Well, thank you very much.
It was an awesome question. Thanks for calling. And Jan, we have 1 minute. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Don.
Can we do this fast?
Hi. Is there an agency that takes care of people to get out of annuities?
I wish there was. I truly wish there was. The problem is you probably signed some documents, and you usually have to just take your lumps. Unless, if they were horribly missold, it probably wouldn't hurt to contact your state attorney general's office, the Office of Consumer Affairs. And if it's a lot of money we're talking about, if it's a lot of money and you believe it was missold, you might want to spend a couple $100 and consult with an attorney. Actually, they might consult with you for free. Get an attorney involved, but there's nobody who can break those contracts because they're just that, contracts.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're one of the many podcast listeners who's asked, how do I attend one of your classes? Well, we've decided to take our very popular lunch ed classes that we've been doing at our offices and also do them in the form of a webinar online. At the same time, I'm doing the class live elsewhere. You can sign up for these live lunch ed classes right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. We have a limited number of seats available because we have to pay for them, so reserve your place right now. We're going to have classes in the future on a variety of topics, so check them out regularly at TalkingRealMoney.com. It's under the event section. And there is a small fee for these classes, just $5, but you're going to get a great education, not a sales pitch, and a free worksheet and some other perks. So sign up for our next Lunch Ed class right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com. And now, more Talking Real Money.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
As I mentioned to Sherry, there's a class coming up, and it's a good one. It's the first 2-hour class we've done in a while. It's the Science of Real Retirement. We're doing it in Tukwila, doing it down on the south side, so it's more convenient to you Southsiders. It's coming up on Saturday, January 21st, and because I just put it up, it's brand new, through the end of 2016, tickets are only $5, and you get a ton of stuff for $5, including a class and a really valuable education. So go sign up right now at TalkingRealMoney.com, TalkingRealMoney.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?